Hello and welcome to SDSU Live, a live video production of SDSU News Center, your source for San Diego State University news. Today, I will be interviewing 3 students from the Hansen Summer Institute. We have Neha from India, Nurullah from Afghanistan, and Hajra from Pakistan. And we're going to be talking about their experience in this International Leadership Conference. And I do want to let folks know that we are going to have the opportunity to take live questions. So if you have any questions for these students and about their experience here in San Diego, please feel free to send an email to sdsulive@gmail.com. Again, that's sdsulive@gmail.com. Or you can reach us via Twitter using SDSU Live. Just remember to put @SDSU Live or hashtag SDSU Live in your question, and we will get to it as soon as we can. So first of all, thank you all for being with me today.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Well, let's just get started with a little bit of the Hansen Institute itself. What is it, and what have you guys been doing for the past couple of weeks? Who wants to start? Sounds like you've been volunteered, my dear.
Yes.
Okay. We started out with a very good beginning because we had a team challenger, team building activity, and we went to a camp and we did rope courses, and I am a person who is very afraid of heights, so I kind of felt a little scared, but I got to learn a lot about other team members, and especially people who have not talked to before, and it's very difficult for me sometimes to open up to them. So building the confidence among people, that was very good. Then we had lots lectures starting with our cultural, like what is the differences within our culture and how that makes sometimes differences within understanding each other. And communication, of course, we talked a lot about that. How does that make a big difference? And negotiation, it will only happen when once communication starts. And yeah, we watched the 4th of July celebrations, and it was a big eye-opener for us to see American, the whole stereotypes breaking that how American celebrations are, and it's very different from the way we have back home. Our Independence Day is more of a military strength, and it's not like a festival thing like you have here. So it was very interesting. We've been having a wonderful time. It's like ups and downs. It's very emotional, and it's fun, and it's everything. It's very nice. Yeah.
Very good. Well, you mentioned how much fun you guys are having and everything, but you've learned a lot with having different lectures. I know there have been case studies. Has there been anything that either individually or as a group has really been the best experience so far? I know that the 3 of you are from neighboring countries. I don't know if there's been any case studies from your area, or if you've just had a better opportunity to get to know each other because you are from in a region of the world that experiences conflict.
I think the best part about Hansen Summer Institute is that it's the fusion of all the lectures and the activity itself. So it's not what we do back home, just sit in a lecture, 2-hour lecture, and just doze off or sleep. So it's the activities and lectures which makes it interesting altogether. And the fact that we have so many great personalities giving us lectures about their experiences. And somehow it's fascinating because we can relate to each one of the participants and each one of the lecturers. So it's like having a mentor giving us advice about our future. And yeah, I think it's great.
Hansen Summer Institute is a place where you can come from different part of the world, and you can understand what you have perceived from the screen of the laptop or a TV, and you do not know personally what's going on there. So it's an opportunity for young leaders who will be the leaders tomorrow in their respective countries to understand what's going on in other part of the world, how I can understand them, how I can know them, and how they can know me. The another important, which I have never seen in any events or programs which I have attended, that they are bringing people from such part of the world where there are conflicts going on, but here we understand each other, and we are friends, and we are working together, and to have the future, the better and a peaceful life in the future in this world. So Hansen Summer Institute not only acquire us training facility to learn this and that, but they are also giving us opportunity to meet with such people from those countries where our governments have problems together on different conflicts. So it's an opportunity that we can talk together and we can understand each other. Before we did not understand each other. We thanks from other angle, but where he came, we understand the other side of the coin as well. So that's a good opportunity of the Hansen.
We're breaking a lot of media perceptions here. What we see in our country's media is very different, and once we are actually talking to a person who is in that country, like we have people from Israel and Palestine, and hearing their conflicting arguments, we try and see how complex the issue is. It's not just one-sided, and even within our country, like we are from a region which is very much in conflict, and every of our countries suffers because of each other. So bringing down those misunderstandings, it creates a big role. It's a powerful way in the future we can understand what's the problem and try and solve it. That's brilliant, I think, what we are getting a chance here, and we are thankful to Hansen because of that.
Good. Now, we've already gotten some questions, and actually from somebody that Hajran knows very well. Her sister here has sent in a question from Pakistan, actually, and I guess we'll start with the question that she had for you, actually. So, what are the most prominent issues faced by women in Pakistan, and are you a good Pakistani ambassador?
Well, she didn't tell me that she was going to ask this question, so it's a surprise for me. Well, okay, women issues. My application, when I wrote my application, it was based on the women issues. I've been working on gender issues a lot, and as I learned from a lot of the lecturers that your life profession is derived from the life experiences you have. And I strongly feel that women in my country, they face a lot of inequality in terms of daily life, daily schedules. I would count myself as a fortunate one because I'm the 2% of the fortunate woman living in Pakistan, but myself, I face daily inequalities, daily issues which women face. And the thing that I've worked with UNDP, and they take projects from rural areas of the country, which is around 70% of the women population of our country, that brought me closer to what I've seen in reality. And yes, women issues, it's a very grave concern for me in my country, and I think right now I'm naive in terms of addressing those issues. So, but I'm hoping to learn a lot, and I have learned a lot from this institute, and I'm hoping to work more for the women of my country, not only for my self-interest, but for others as well. And the secondly, for being a good ambassador to Pakistan. Okay, I'll try to be a bit modest here, but I try to be one. I've seen a lot of girls who go out, they just lose their morality, but I try my best to just maintain it. And yes, I'm trying my best to be a good ambassador. I won't say that I'm 100% a good one. Like, I wore my national dress on the TV. We wore our national dress on our presentation.
I want to advertise Hansen.
Well, thank you very much. But that sounds good because you're working on things that are important to you and issues that are important worldwide. So actually, we'll go to Afghanistan, and it's another question from your sister as well. What discriminations, Nurullah, have you faced, if any, while you visited outside of your country? And then her second question, again, relates to women. What's your opinion about the status of women in your country? So whichever one you want to go with first.
Yes, thanks for the very important and wonderful questions from Hira. Discrimination faced to me outside or inside the country?
Outside of the country.
Outside the country. It's a very important question. Every time when I go abroad, so I'm dealing with such question. Let me start with the Hansen case. When I was talking with one of the Hansen fellows, she is from Azerbaijan, and people were perceived about Afghanistan from the outside. It's quite different. It's like something very, very different part of the world for them, but it's not like that case. So she asked me a question that, are you a liberal or conservative?
It's so easy when it's just one or the other.
Yeah, so we were chatting on Facebook, so then I chatted further with her. It's a thing that happens, like even when I travel to other part of the world and different events, so people think about Afghanistan something else. When they interact with me, they understand me, they think, oh, it's not that way we are thinking. So I experienced that experience here in Hansen as well. So now I'm very close to everyone. At the beginning, we were not too close to each other, so they were thinking of something about Afghanistan, what will be there, how is it. So I explained Afghanistan in a better way to them, that this is the situation, and you have to understand Afghanistan in this way as well. You have not to think negative every time. Positive thinking is the right way to lead. Regarding the women's status, if I can answer to this question from another angle, positively, not negatively.
Please.
Two words are used a lot in developing countries, especially for women: human rights and democracy. And using these words are very sensitive in different cultures, in different contexts, and different religions. So to understand these things clearly and communicate these words in a proper way to different cultures, societies, it is not on the way which is in Afghanistan. If you tell to someone democracy, they perceive something else. But these are the things that we also accepted. But the way how you communicate democracy, how you communicate human rights, and how you can understand the people, that's the question. That still international community, neither Afghans do not understand how to communicate to my people the democracy and human rights issues. That where's the right of the woman, where's the rights of the men. So these are the things, the problems that the communication, how to communicate the words, because people have very sensitivity human rights words and also democracy. But if you can read the human rights and the democracy mandates, so that are acceptable to us if you can teach to them in another way. So that I can say, but still there are challenges a lot to the women, and we have done a lot, our government, and even our government created a separate ministry for women affairs. So it's a great achievement in the government. We have a huge number of parliamentarians in the Congress. So women are going to schools, colleges, universities, hospitals. The problems are not on the way which is in the media. If I can answer to this question in a second way, I was discussing this in Hansen as well. I give this example in the Hansen as well. Mostly always media is happy to show to the people the negative things, the wrongs, what's going on there in Afghanistan. But they are not showing the development side of the country, that this is done for the women, this is done for the development, this is done in infrastructure. People are going to schools, people are going to colleges, universities, situation are changing rapidly, but the case is reverse. They're saying that this much schools are lost, women are attacking, children are kidnapping. So these are the situations. So the way how you are sending the message to the people, that's important, and to convince them to understand them.
It sounds like just need better communication, yes, really, exactly, on bridging the gap of understanding when, yes, it comes to what the rest of the international community calls democracy and human rights. And really, it sounds like Afghanistan has done a lot just in terms of what the old regime, yes, and their policies towards women and what's going on now. So it sounds like they're moving in the, yes, right direction.
And if you can see, like 30 years war, you cannot change everything within one day. It takes time. You have to be patient. And secondly, that the gap is increasing between the public, the government, the international community. So there is not a central mediator that can link together all the organizations, institutions to have a better coordination, that they can support each other. So that's the problem that it's going on in the country, but it's under the role of the United Nations Assistance Mission for Afghanistan. It's under their mandate to coordinate these efforts. So we are optimistic to see the better life for the Afghan people. I
would like to add a very short statement. Okay. I totally agree with Nurullah. I think it's the media who are trying to portray that women or children or any one of the individuals in our country, they're suppressed and they're not given their rights. Like when I was here, the first question I was asked, don't you wear the burqa, the veil that women usually wear? And I said, I'm like this, I wear jeans, I wear anything I wear here back in Pakistan. But here the difference is that people are used to accepting people individually. But back there, I would be cautious, I would not take chances of wearing some clothes which I wear here. So it's the media which portrays a certain country in a bad way. So I think it's ambassadors like him, ambassadors like Neha and me, and other leaders like Benazir Bhutto. I was surprised to know that many of the people knew her as a very charismatic leader. So she made a point that people know about her, and she set an example for everyone. So a positive view from the media is a way forward for us.
Good. I will hold that question for just 1 second that I have for Neha, but do want to remind folks, if you want to send in questions, send them to sdsulive@gmail.com or message us via Twitter using @SDSULive. Again, that's the @ SDSULive on Twitter. Now for our last question, which has nothing to do with women's rights, but is very interesting in and of itself for Neha, do you think India can be the next superpower? That's a big question.
Oh my, my God. I would like to first question what do they define as a superpower? Because sometimes superpower, they can, right now, many people say that since the US is a superpower, so it sometimes can dominate in a negative way, maybe influence things where it could hurt other countries, or maybe influence them in certain way which can cause damage. So I don't want to have that kind of association with the word of superpower. For me, superpowers may be something that it's just one of the powers among multi-powers. There are such beautiful countries around the world. They all have their own ambitions. They want to grow. And just saying that India will become a superpower, maybe, yes, maybe in 20 years, 50 years, you can say that it's a booming economy and there is a lot of growth happening. And we have I agree, we have a lot of potential to become one of the biggest superpowers maybe in the future. But there is a lot of hurdles to it. And I do not want to say that it's one of the countries which is having problems with internal conflicts. There is lots of them. We have had discussions about our problems with Pakistan. We have problems even within our ethnic communities within our country. We have a lot of problems with the caste issues, and people try and see that is the only focus in our country, which is not true. We are one of the most secular nations. India has never also tried, it's one of the most peaceful in the way that we have never tried to invade any country ever in the history of civilization. So that's something that we need to be proud of. And there are so many religions in our country, so many ethnic differences, and we are still together all these years. So that is something that we need to look forward to. And our economy has been always appreciated that we took all the waves of the financial collapse, and we and China were the only countries that are still standing on. It has affected us. It's not that we are totally immune to it. But yes, in the future, if you want to say that India will be among the best powers, not superpower, but in a multipolarity world, in a world where every country has its own ambitions, it's growing, there is no conflict, I would like to see that kind of utopian world. If that is possible, I don't know. But conflicts will go on. Let's try and solve it in a more rational way. We try and see negotiation and maybe do it in a way where there is no need for any kind of war or any kind of any necessary of any violence there.
Okay.
So India would like to promote that, yes.
Good. Well, actually, I was just going to say, because we got a question from Farah, and I think this actually kind of hinges on what you just said about conflict. Farah is asking about the conflict in Kashmir and what's going on there. What's the origin, and is it religious or ethnic related, or is it something completely different? I don't know if you're comfortable with addressing that a little bit, and I know it's an area in dispute between your two countries.
It's funny that Palestine and Israel, the participants from here, they're always arguing about their rights, what's Palestine right about or not Israel. And when people ask us that, what are the conflicts, what have you discussed? Bonnie, our coordinator, she asked us that, what do you think about Kashmir? Have Neha and you talked about it? I said, no, we haven't talked about it yet because we have other issues to discuss. But Kashmir issues, yes, it is a grave concern. It is a bone of contention between India and Pakistan. And
Big bone of
I think,
contention, yes.
Yes, and I think it's responsibility, and it's a high time now, it's responsibilities of the Indian and the Pakistani government to just perceive it from a more humanistic view rather than national interest. And I think it would be good to let the people of Kashmir decide. And we're not agreeing on it. India is not agreeing on it.
China's interests are there. It's a very tricky situation there. And it's not something related to religion or ethnic problem. It started right when the partition took place. So it was an external party doing a partition within a nation which was so together. And they did it in a very strange manner, and that was the source of the conflict.
So the resources.
Now the third party left, and the two parties that were involved, they couldn't agree on the one boundary. It's just a piece of land that needs to be shared together, and neither our country agrees to it, neither their country agrees to it, and none of us would like to leave it alone also, because it's a very strategic position. So of course the negotiation has to go on, but also there is the problem that India also needs stability there. We do not want to have we keep saying Pakistan occupied Kashmir, India occupied Kashmir, and we keep having allegations against each other that they have terrorist camps over there, and they said that we have terrorist camps over here, and we keep bombarding each other. Innocent lives are lost in between. They are not part of the conflict. It's not their fault, but they are suffering because of this. I'm a person who stays in the capital city, New Delhi. It's not that far from Kashmir, but still I'm not directly affected to it. And trying to sit there and trying to just rationalize, it's not possible for me to do that. I need to be associated in some way. Maybe it's the same case with her. Even though we are in the same country, not everyone discusses the Kashmir issue because they cannot really relate to it. And they don't have much information also about it.
Let me follow up on both comments.
Afghanistan.
The Kashmir is a very important and key issues. And it's not only issue between Pakistan and India, it's a regional issue. If this issue is solved, the solution of the region will be solved, like China, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. The strategy towards, if I go to the new Obama administration tries to solve this problem, and which the Kashmir issue is linked with Afghanistan, with India, with China, itself Pakistan. So this issue is the key issue to be triggered to bring peace in the region, to solve it between Pakistan and India. If this issue is solved, the problems in Afghanistan would be settled, and the problems between China and India will be settled.
I disagree to that.
This will be settled.
We have lots of other issues, but I agree.
There is issue of the economic issues. There are, like China and India is emerging economies. They're going for the economic growth, to have economic power in the region, not only in the region, in the world, in the next few decades.
We have nuclear. All of us are nuclear powers around each other. So it's a good thing actually that we are not going to bombard each other. Then
you should be careful. We both have nuclear powers.
Poor Narula, stuck in between these two women and their nuclear superpower countries. Actually, we are getting short on time, but I do want to ask one important question from actually a Hansen Summer Institute fellow from 2007, Ramona Dragomir. Yes. And Ramona asks, how do they think they will build upon the experience gained in the US in their works in their respective countries? So how are you going to take what you learned here at the Hansen Summer Institute back home? I know you mentioned that you want to work more towards women's rights. I don't know if you want to expand on that, or if you too would like to answer that and address that question.
I think I would like to start with a disclaimer that when I came here, Americans, they do come in all shapes and sizes. Because back home, we had a perception that all Americans are the same, they're wild, and every other perception. But now when I'm here, every individual is different from each other. And it's hard to identify one from the other. So I think my perception back home when I came here, it would be totally different about all the Americans, about all the different countries.
Yeah. So now we have a face behind every
Facebook.
Facebook is there.
That's what Ron says.
Yeah, it's true that we have learned a lot here. That's something that we cannot say enough about, and we have so many lectures that is within the academic framework. Then outside we have sitting beside the pool. We have discussions about our country. We have dinners and breakfast, and that is also time. We have activities outside the normal college campus. It's a lot of time that we are bonding, on a more personal level, and even about our countries. We try and lose a lot of misconceptions, and we understand that many of our conflicts are quite similar. So I understand it's not like the solutions can be very fastly done, or it's a very complex issues. There's no easy answer to it, but at least we come to an understanding that it can be solved. It is not good to lose hope. And as soon as it can be done, it's good for us. It will be very nice if we can do it in our generation, or probably in the near future. It will be good if our education system has something like that you have the understanding of other countries and not brainwash them. That is one of the major concerns that happen in our countries. And we try and brainwash each other like Pakistan is a bad nation, it's a terrorist nation, and it has done so much injustice to you. So that needs to be broken, and I think it's similar to in other countries also.
And other than other than the political and the economic problems, I think Hansen Summer Institute, it has given us a lot of information about the education system in America, and I think I would love to go back home and follow the same schedule Hansen Summer Institute followed in terms of mentor and the student interaction. It's like talking to a friend, because back home I would never imagine talking to my principal or my coordinator or the head. So I would really want to take this part with me back home and implement it there when I go.
To Ramuna's question, the experiences which we are, as I mentioned earlier, that we are a global village here in Hansen. We learned every day single new things from each our friend here, which will work in country back. And now we are free, open-minded, knowledgeable people, and we can share all these experiences with our people, and we can teach them that do not pursue on the way which you pursue about country X, Y, Z. So this is not the situation which you are hearing from the other people. I meet with them and I stay with them in a one place, close, attached together, and we talk together. So situation is not the way which you are thinking. So we hope that we can change the mind of the people back in the countries. Do not pursue on this way. Think on other ways. That's the important
part. We are the future leaders, hopefully. Like some of us might become very influential in our governments, or maybe we will be diplomats talking to each other. I'll meet you again in some negotiation table.
I'm coming to India.
Okay.
That's
nice.
Say that we shared bathrooms.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's if you share bathrooms, you become more personally involved.
It's hard not to when you live with one another, and you guys have had a very intense experience these past couple of weeks. So unfortunately, we weren't able to get to all of our questions. Farouk, I am sorry for misnaming you as a woman. Farouk is a man. He has emailed me about it. But unfortunately, we did have other questions and just didn't have time to get to them. But again, thank you for joining us for SDSU Live, video production of SDSU News Center, your source for SDSU News. We will have this show up on our YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/SDSU video, you should be able to watch last week's video as well as this video. We'll have that in our archives there. Again, thank you for joining us, and we hope you click in again next time.